It's Wednesday. It's May 31st, 2023. I went out for exercise or a run today. I got a special code on my Fitbit. Um, it was a it was a 300 code on my Fitbit, and um, something is going on. I got 4 laps around, and then I called it quits for today. Normally I go 8. I started running back, and as I crossed from one street to the next, it was just such a gravity change in my legs just started to become extremely heavy again. Um, Whatever that means. But again, I got around the lake with a 300, and then on the way back, somewhere in between, there's a discrepancy in. Again, I watched Matrix this morning. I'm not a big fan of the way that because that seems more Family Feud storyline. Um, and at this point where I am, um, in talks with myself for my clock service directly to my son, um, it's just, um, I know 1998 Star Trek Insurrection happened, just didn't happen in necessarily in 98. Again, I can't comment on certain parts of this, but um, right before the children were taken away and the house was lost in on 69 West Row on the corner of Monroe, um, before they were taken, and then I was sent back here, to these series of rooms. It happened, that that parallel, whatever. Um, this morning, um, I did a Zoom call on, with the Red Cross Zion. Um, and again, like that's what my problem with the Matrix is it's like there's an EIEIO, which for me is like it's all great to me on that level, and then there's the IO, um, and then there's like the EO me EO, um, to the man in the gray trousers. It's a different level of whatever, for me anyway. Um, so on the Zoom call today, they buried this story in a book. Um, Sounds like for the ear Lou, but it's Luke. It's some hybrid theory, Family Feud story between Mary. I mean, like, again, this is Vatican Citadel. It's between Mary and Elizabeth. One has Jesus, one has a son of her own. And then there's like real world. I'm in a place that had a head of household woman named Elizabeth. And there's some management coordination of, I don't know how that works at head of state and so on and so forth. Because again, um, but here in this area, there's a Memorial Day, for all of those who have died serving the US, or the US. Not to be confused with Victoria and Victor or Victory Day, although Nicole is translated into Greek as victory, but here we are yet again. On a special timing clock, special service. So they've, again, these stories of are, I didn't comment on it really. Where I did say, because they were talking Hannah, and I was like, oh, right, that's the Arctic Circle movie, that there was an FBI warning in front of it, so I didn't do anything with that, because nobody wants, like, I got enough with the Facebook investigators. So, um, anyhow, I'm like, if there was a Mary and they did, or if there was a Hannah, let's just say, and someone took her children and gave her children to the temple. See, thing with 1976, he's not a Jew. He doesn't go to temple. He also does not, this is Jason 1976, he also doesn't have this mother or father thing going for him, because it says fat her. That's female. How'd you create the universe in utero? That's the spark of life. Spark of creation doesn't happen at the ignition switch located. And again, I hear two takes two to tango, but let's just say the mother's the one that builds every cell and the clock. So they took, and I said, and it's according to Hannah, if anybody's asking, like the Arctic Circle Hannah, shall I say, it's still technically kidnapping when you take the children out of the safety that they've come to expect and throw them into the ocean to return them to the temple. Because I'm pretty sure the gang of crooks that wanted to purposely persecute and hurt me even more than they already have my entire life, I think they were using that to go to some other whatever. And again, Boys Town and the Academy being whatever they are, they missed Alexander by a year. I'm pretty sure Victor wants to know about that. I'm just saying, Victory Day. Sorry, whatever. These are important, crucial pieces since they don't all share the same holy book and holy stories. But they wanted me in the Red Cross for some reason at the fish hatchery by under the name St. John's. So today the ladies at the sisterhood alerted me under the story of Luke, for which there's Lord's Prayer at Episcopal, but those Catholics love their Hail Mary. So I know both prayers, and my 2012 Mayan calendar, baby, we say both prayers before bed, uh, religiously every night. Sometimes there's a witness, sometimes it's just he and I. Um, and so there's that. But it brought context today to growing up in this whaling town, why there was St. John's. Like, out of all the Red Crosses in all of God's glory and the good Lord, why was it St. John's and why was it a whaling town today? Like some other clock system in the galaxy that's far, far away in the great beyond, but still, like, I didn't want it to be family feudal. It's just here we are at Georgetown and some guy smiling while I was up against a brick wall saying that he knew who Mary was. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, I mean, I have aunts that are named Mary, but like great aunts, but I don't know what you're talking about. So, and that was way before there was ever a Hamptons party with some Cardinal and some Indiana Joe and whatever else. Again, like Ricky Bobby and the Talladega Night guys with this car racing thing that they got going on that then led to Step Brothers, that then led to Holmes and Watson, right? I mean, you all seem to have your own holy Bible in telling the same crap just in a different way. I did see on Eyewitness News, however, they put up there was, they're now saying that there's a beluga whale trained by the Russians spying on Sweden. I'm like, wow, now that's not a conversation for somebody else's dinner table. I mean, like, what? Um, but that just seems how polluted this whole whatever has gotten in between like Matrix and Metrics and Risky Business, um, red pill, blue pill. I mean, it's government. So I'm really not quite sure why clock service, uber important, like gubernatorial important. So, I mean, for people that can gift and then taketh away, why not taketh away the Anthony 1975 problem from the house and gifteth me the money to pay and stay in the house with the children in order to complete their whatever? Like, that would have been the Red Cross thing to do at Loyalty, since I never said a word to anyone, nor did I give permission for anything that may have feudaled its way into hatred of me for some reason. Um, anyhow, so they gave me the story about from Luke's book about Mary and Elizabeth, Jesus and John the Baptist, and the two sons. And I'm like, right, yeah, I'm clock service. But again, I didn't say that because who wants to be that? Whatever. There was a prayer before it about this whole humility thing, which I've been my entire life. Um, but like that movie Hannah, really, the Arctic Circle Hannah, really hit home for me. It technically is kidnapping. I'm just saying. I mean, I did let the sisterhood know. I was like, no, he very really tried to kill me. And again, I raised the children, never said a word. Like, I didn't want my children to be mentally damaged any more than what's going on here. At this version of humanity already was presenting to them. And then, oh my God, today they put on this 1619 project of like, they're like, some other versions holding this up and they're like, we've worked harder, we've done this. And I'm like, Now, I'm part of the ancestry of the government for this area. I'm just curious if you've worked harder, served harder, what have you been serving? Because I've been really hurt in this area by a opportunity taken and so on and so forth. So were those foreign dollars, and which foreign government? Because it seems like somebody was feeding you through some UN program. I'm just curious because, like, the good guys down in Georgetown and like DOJ, they like to know these things as to like where was the money coming from that you think that you were serving and getting paid to serve that, where you think you sacrificed so much. Because then I hear other things that people are asking for reparations and things, and I'm like, what? Like, in case you haven't noticed, you didn't get your part right. World's not fixed overnight. In fact, it's gotten worse over the last, oh, I don't know, 70 years. So that should just about do it. In, was it foreign money that they took in order to grow themselves stronger and like a more powerful voice and middle class on these lands that have a particular paper and government? Because I'm pretty sure they've taken that money, which makes them agents of some US relationship. But then what was growing them stronger? Again, is that an internal issue, or is that a foreign based exchange program? Because it's getting like they don't let girls in a boys' town, but I got like this whole clock thing and a GOD on my file. Kind of pertinent in another way. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way universe, galaxies broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.